You know those dreams that feel so real they stick with you long after you wake up? Well, today we're diving into one of those. It's a powerful, kind of allegorical dream that's a whole journey in itself, from absolute rock bottom despair to this incredible spiritual moment. And at the heart of it all is this one really curious object, a green cord. This isn't just some weird dream. It's like a roadmap for transformation, and it gives us a fascinating way to think about what faith actually is. And this journey, it doesn't start with hope or excitement. No, it starts in the complete opposite place. Total, crushing despair. The person having this dream is so lost, so full of suffering, that they're just sitting there, head in their hands. It's such a powerful picture of feeling completely alone and just desperate for a way out. So, this state of abject despair is basically the starting point, the ordinary world for our narrator. It's this place where they feel totally alone, and all they can think is, man, if only Jesus were here, he would get what I'm going through. This isn't just being sad, you know? It's this deep spiritual ache for connection. And right there, in that darkest moment, something shifts. And just like that, a door opens. A guide shows up, offering the exact thing the narrator was just wishing for. Talk about a call to adventure, right? But check out the condition here. It's not just, hey, follow me. It's take everything you possess and follow me. This is the cost of entry for this journey. You have to bring all of your baggage, every single piece of it, with you. Okay, so the narrator agrees, they gather up all their stuff, and the guide leads them not to some grand entrance, but to this steep, really frail-looking stairway. This is them crossing the threshold. They're leaving that world of despair behind and stepping onto a path that feels hopeful, sure, but also super risky. So the guide gives some very clear instructions for this climb. We've got the first two, but this third one, it's absolutely crucial. Keep your eyes fixed upward. And you just know this isn't about, not tripping on a step. It's a spiritual command. Don't look down. Don't get distracted by how scary it is. Just stay focused on where you're going. And the stakes here become crystal clear really fast. Success is not a guarantee. The narrator literally sees other people trying to make the same climb, but they stumble and they fall. It just goes to show how hard this path really is, and why following those instructions to the letter is so important. The risk of failing is totally 100% real. After this really tough climb, they finally make it. They're at the top, standing in front of one last door. And this right here, this is the final exam, the ultimate ordeal of the whole journey. Everything comes down to what happens next. The guide turns to them and says, "Leave all the things that you have brought." Wait, what? Everything? All those treasured possessions? All that baggage they were just told to haul up this incredibly dangerous staircase? After all that work, what would you do? I mean, think about it. What would be the one thing that would be the hardest for you to leave at that door? But the narrator? They don't even hesitate. The story says they cheerfully laid them down. Let that sink in. Not grudgingly, not with a heavy heart, but cheerfully. This is such a huge moment of surrender. It's the sign that what's behind that door is now way more important than anything they own. They passed the test. And with that, the door swings open. This is it. This is the reward, the absolute climax of the entire dream. The narrator steps inside and is standing right there, in the presence of the person they've been longing to see. And right away, there's this feeling of being completely known, completely seen. The narrator feels like they can't even stand his gaze. But then Jesus comes closer, with a smile, puts a hand on their head, and says two simple words, "Fear not." And just like that, with that sound, that touch, every single bit of fear vanishes. All the despair that kicked this whole thing off is just gone. What happens next is, well, it's almost impossible to describe with words. The narrator is so overcome with joy, they can't even speak. They just collapse at his feet, feeling this sense of safety and peace they call heaven itself. It's this moment of pure reverence and a love that's just too big for language, a total and complete transformation of their entire being. But the journey isn't quite over. The narrator has to go back to the real world, and they're not leaving empty-handed. As they're about to leave, the guide is there waiting, and he gives them this tangible symbol of what just happened, something they can carry with them. He hands them a green cord all coiled up tight, and this is the central symbol of the whole dream. It represents faith. But here's the thing, it's not just a passive symbol, it's a tool. It's a direct line to the divine, and it comes with a user manual. some very specific instructions on how to take care of it. And the instructions for this cord are super specific. First, you've got to keep it close to your heart. Second, when you need to feel that connection, you have to actively stretch it as far as it will go. And third, and this is so important, he warns them not to let it stay coiled up because it'll get all knotted and tangled and become almost impossible to straighten out. The dream is basically saying faith is like a muscle. You have to use it. You have to work it out constantly. So, the narrator heads back down the stairs, just filled with joy, holding on to this new understanding. And now we get to see what this dream actually did, what its impact was on their waking life. I mean, just look at the contrast between before and after. It is night and day. The narrator goes from being this benighted soul in abject despair to a hopeful soul filled with unspeakable joy. Suffering gets replaced by gladness, and helplessness gets replaced by this new trust in God. The dream didn't just give them a nice memory. It fundamentally rewired their whole existence. And the narrator's own conclusion just spells it right out for us. The cord is faith, and the dream showed them what it's really about, a beautiful, simple act of trust. It's not about carrying all your burdens up a staircase. It's about actively reaching out, about stretching that cord. So the dream leaves us with this really powerful metaphor and a question that kind of sticks with you. If faith is this thing that gets all tangled up when we leave it alone, what does it actually mean in our own lives to stretch it? How do we keep that line from getting coiled and hard to use? That's definitely something to think about.